new time.
All right. Ashapurna, good to see you. It seems a long, long time. Govinda, Govinda. Oh, but you can't see me, can you? Okay, now you can see me. Hare Krishna, good to see you. And Sevarupa is outside somewhere. She's in the, no, not in a car. She's beside a window.
Yes, Dandavats, Hare Krishna.
And now you can see it is summer in South Africa. So daylight is already with you.
And we an hour later, I think the time's changed.
Somewhere it's changed. I only know that I'm meant to be here at this time. So let us see. Priyanana Devirasi, good to see you. I'm right here in Gupta Govardhan and there's no Priyanana, except you are here. You're here digitally. Hare Krishna. Govinda Govinda. And Jivana Devirasi with us, Tungarasadi with us, along with the offering of a Tulasi Manjari. Chintamani Devirasi with us, Udaran Prabhu from Latvia. Udaran Prabhu, welcome. And Rupa Nuga Prabhu. I learned a secret that actually you're only a few kilometers away from us, down in South Thailand, and here we are in North Thailand. Some reason I thought that name you mentioned about where you are was in some remote corner of the world, but it's South Thailand. Rupa Nuga Prabhu, very close to us. And back to Dan. Dan, Hare Krishna, welcome back. Good to have you with us. And just now Ganga Leela Devidasi also joined. And we're being looked after by Leela Moy Prabhu in Brazil, where it is midnight, I think. Actually midnight.
Yes, it is.
You're a soldier. I'm quite good I'm quite good at early mornings, but I'm not so good at midnights, middle of the night. So well done, Leela Moy Prabhu. You're standing up for the duty nicely. And Dana K, she has joined us from Florida, maybe. She travels a little bit, but Dana, we're waiting to meet you in person one day in Thailand or maybe back in Italy or somewhere. We're waiting for that day. Means somewhere where you'll be with the devotees, a devotee community, and happily nourished. All right, Hare Krishna. Yes, Dana. So first of all, we've come together and let us give obeisances together. We're here happily. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, and Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindhubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Om ajnanatimirandasya, jnananjana shalakaya, chakshuranmilitam jena, tasmai Shri Guruve namaha. Namo Mahaviranyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne, Gaura Tuje Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome one and all. And Mitchell is here. I'm not sure who is Mitchell. Maybe a friend of Chintamani. Chintamani, not sure. All right. We're here and I can just let you know that 40 minutes ago, okay, we'll just greet Mitchell as he arrives, connecting to audio. Not yet, all right. Just 40 minutes ago, I was talking like very sincere conversation, very like focused conversation with a devotee 40 minutes ago. And why focused? Because he is now about to die. So it's a devotee, we met him, we know him, and now he's accepted that, you know, all the doctors in the world, they can't cure what his condition is now, and so he's now on his last steps. Accepted his, like, the fate that, okay, now hasn't reached a ripe old age, but it's a reasonable age, and now he's going to pass away. But we had a very, you almost can say, recordable conversation, because he knows that within a few days he's going to go through the next door. He knows that, yes, there is no survival, no chance, oh, I'm going to get better from this one, but I'm on my way out. And so we had actually a very focused, and I don't mean impolite. Sometimes you have a polite conversation with somebody, but this was polite, but I mean, it wasn't like, how are you? And I said to him, Prabhu, I'm not going to ask you how you are. It's not the time for how are you, we know that. It's the time for remembering our connection, remembering our necessity for really holding on to that connection when we have our body, but when we leave our body also. And so it was very direct kind of conversation. And he is very sober, very gentle, accepting everything. And he's a disciple of Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. And you know, he's met Gurudev, so much intensity of understanding, like, who is Gurudev? Who is Guru Maharaj? Who is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Who is Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada? Super great souls coming from the upper world to this world. So at this stage in one's life, when you know you're about to leave, there's no question of any party spirit or any this, that, or any kind of local interest matter, except, yes, we've got our master, we've come to something which is real, and now I'm preparing myself for the next chapter in our life. We were babies, we were boys or girls, we were teenagers, we were young adults, we were, you know, medium adults, we were older adults. But it's a change of body, and Krishna also says, as we go from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly, we take another body at the time of death. And when we can be fixed and focused in our aim, and not, oh, okay, I have still 3 more days to live, I can play, I do not know what they play online. But you know, we know that they're playing all these competitive things online and trying to get extra points and, you know, go on to the next level and stuff like that. That kind of thing, what interest is there? A natural disinterest, not the slightest interest to, like, watch a movie or to play, you know, online game or to do anything frivolous, anything which has no value. Only hankering, wanting to be with devotees. Audio books, he's listening to the audio books and to the classes, using the time, utilizing this time. He doesn't have to make money. He doesn't have to go out to, you know, do anything like that. So now he's got a few days left, and we had this actually very wonderful, happy conversation with each other. And we are all going through that next door. I'm here in Gupta Govardhan. It looks dark behind me, but that's only because the room's dark. I'm sitting at the open door in Gupta Govardhan in Thailand. And we were here for the morning class. Actually, Thursday in Gupta Govardhan is Bhakti Lalita's Thursday. And she does broadcast, or they broadcast her on Facebook. Once a week is Facebook, Bhakti Lalita's Thursday, and on Instagram. But she refused to have a Bhakti Lalita Thursday because we turned up here. So anyway, Bhakti Lalita, during the program, she also was reminding me and reminding the devotees of another devotee who passed away and came back, means by electronic means was stimulated and came back in the body after a little while. And she reminded me, we were there, she and I were together meeting this devotee a few years ago in Australia. And she had that expression, and like very, not an expression, oh, I learned this verse, or I learned this expression and it is, a wonderful, expression, not like a second-hand thing, but first-hand. She said, after coming back in her body, and after, by the way, describing also very nicely her experience on leaving her body, and her experience saying how, she said very clearly, very strongly, she said, and Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he's not an old man. Gurudev is not an old man. He was there, and he's Gurudev, and he's young, and all the like so beautiful understanding, experience, not writing a poem for entertainment, but she was. We saw her a few days after she'd had this experience, and she was still meant to be bedridden and everything else, but she actually put on a dressing gown and she sat and she talked with Bhakti Lalita, myself, and one or two others for a little while. And anyhow, but she had an expression which Bhakti Lalita reminded us of this morning, where she said, we are in a place where there are no survivors. Like this ship, we are all on a ship, we're going somewhere, but it's going to sink with no survivors. It's not that, oh, one or two will make it. Nobody will make it. And this was her like vivid experience of having left her body and being resuscitated again after some minutes. So we need to learn from the, you can say, real life world, where everything isn't just painted very nicely and for sipping some wine, cigar, and thinking how many zeros on the end of my bank account. So many things which actually, there are people, I know somebody in this world who, okay, maybe not the cigar, but does drink the wine and does pretty much look at the zeros on the end of his bank account. I mean, very wealthy person. But what satisfaction is there in that ultimately, when we can be awake to the wealth of Krishna consciousness? So, this way, today, just as I say a few minutes ago, now not 40 minutes ago, now 50 minutes ago, I was talking with a devotee. And we've been reflecting in our morning program about his circumstance, and a natural thing in the beginning, trying to get cures, trying to do natural remedies, trying to do this. But now finally, everybody's agreed, okay, there's tiny chance if you do this, that might happen. But he has taken the step to acknowledge, yes, I'm not even going to try. Now I understand my days are over and I just want to be with devotees. Hear kirtan, be in kirtan, and hear the audio books this way, and chant the holy names of the Lord. And very nice conversation. So this is my morning, because we're here, it's morning, all of those, it's the middle of the night for you, very sorry, but here it's morning. And this is my morning, some experience, other experiences too, because as we do, we get up early in the morning, but this morning we drove here from Govinda Farm to Gupta Govardhan, the temple here in Chiang Mai. And what takes an hour and a half in the day took us like 50 minutes. Priyanana knows. So when the roads are quiet, you can just come here. And I do assume that the policemen are all sleeping, because I did notice the speed limit signs, and I do believe we weren't quite following those signs. So I can only assume, unless there's going to be a tail of speeding fines that come through the post, that police are sleeping. I know previously we traveled from Chiang Mai to here with Paramananda Prabhu driving, who wasn't driving today, in like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was zooming through along the road. And I said, are there no speed limits here? And he said, oh, it's too hot for the police at 2 in the afternoon. So whether it's too early for the police at 5:15 in the morning, I'm not sure. Anyway, we drove from the farm, Govinda farm, to Gupta Govardhan here. And actually, it was my thought, and I thought it was arranged, that we're going to have Praneshwari Devi Rasi with us, who is in fact our host, I mean the host of our host, Leelamoy in the position Das Anudas. So Praneshwari is like the host of our host, and she's just come back from India, and she's only in transit, and so she's come here to Gupta Govardhan, and she came day before yesterday evening, but in the evening. So yesterday, one day, today she's leaving in the afternoon. And I had the ulterior motive of having Praneshwari here, and we can sit and actually be with each other and have a chat, and you can all watch us chatting about India and about the parikramas and about like what took place just now. But even, I can't tell you, but the ladies are having a secret morning. So some of you know what that probably is. Priyanana knows. And Ashapurna knows. The ladies are having a secret morning in Chiang Mai. And so they've all gone out with little Bhakti Lalita driving a big car, which I'm surprised to see. So Bhakti Lalita is driving. And by the way, Goswami Maharaj is driving himself also, which I'm a little surprised to see. And here I am being driven. Oh dear. Next time, bring a license and get one of those big motorcycles down the road. No, I won't. I'm trying to be a good boy. Now we've reached the age where we should be a good boy. All right. So this is my opening remark for our back to basics, which in essence is the reminder of the certain temporariness of human life, and how we should be realistic, not pessimistic, but realistic, and be so joyful that we've come to such a connection of actual Paramahamsas. We're not in the world of fanaticism or dreaming or pretending or trying to, make something which isn't. But we know how, all of our line, we know that in our recent time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, that section is coming from the upstairs world, the destination world for us. They're coming from there to here to bring us home. And so with such a clean, pure connection for all of the devotees in the world who can make that connection, means we have to have that connection, not just sit back and, I signed up a few years ago and I chanted Hare Krishna for a few days and like that. But if we can actually make that connection tangible, we need to do something, not just say, I signed on the line, everything is going to be okay. But we need to make that tangible in this lifetime now. So whatever we do, we want to be Krishna conscious. We want to be Guru, Vaishnava, Gauranga conscious. And we always told we are not the doer. We have our duty, we have our dharma, we have what we need to do by nature, but we need to do it for Krishna, and the result is up to the Lord. We may try very hard and get no result. We may not try very hard at all and get much result. I mean, Many things happen in this world, which sometimes, is entertaining and sometimes a little sad when we see how much hard work somebody puts to do something, and then they get not only a disappointing result, they get a life-changing result where they've lost their home, their credit rating and everything else, and sometimes their wife and family, or the other way around, the husband and family. Hare Krishna. And one of our, anyway, we don't have to give a case scenario, but many things happen. So we are not to look at the result. The result is up to Krishna, but we are to look and try to be conscious that Krishna is behind everything, and we are for Krishna. We are for Guru and Vaishnava, and we want to make that real now when we have a healthy mind, more or less, healthy body, more or less. Hare Krishna. And for all of you who think you're so grown up, Gurudev said, a boy is not a man until he is 40 years old. We can say that because we're over 40. But when we are under 40, maybe we'd have a little resistance to hear that. Because I remember being not even 20 and not appreciating being treated like a boy. But there we are. Okay, these are my opening words and actual reflection about the world and about sincerity in devotional service and about the reality of what we're doing and the connection that we have. It's not a matter of vote, it's a matter of substance and realization. Realization means really understanding that we've got the most wonderful masters, and our realization is we really have to hold on to their feet and sit beside them, hear, try to understand their heart, their message, and do that. So, after all that, who is going to say something? A contributor. Yes, Priyanana Devirasi, please contribute. I'm coming with my uttarya. This is for begging.
Oh, Maharaj, you have a too big uttarya. First, I saw also, I think Tungarasa Didi wrote something about her mother in the chat.
Okay.
Same, on same topic.
Oh, Ganga Leela.
Yeah.
Ganga Leela. Do good for her, Ganga Leela Didi. Do good for her. And the good thing really is just affectionately, well, okay, not for me to say, is it? I mean, but affectionately just let her know the value of the Lord's name. Doesn't matter what religion somebody says they belong to. Call out the Lord's name, take the Lord's name, be faithful. This is our connection with Him. And Sevarupa Devirasi is added, Dehi nosmin yata dehe kaumarang yovarang jara ta dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to 40 years and over, old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person, Dhira, is not bewildered by such a change. Hare Krishna. Yes, Ganga Leela Didi. Which place in Germany are you going to? Because we do have devotees in Germany.
That's good to know. I'm flying to Hamburg. I'm from Hamburg, and my mother is in Hamburg. She is in the hospice now, and so it's a quick decision to fly over, and that's exactly what I feel, what you said about just being affectionate, being sweet, and not bringing anything upsetting up. And I was hoping to maybe chant with her, unless that she feels like, because she's not Krishna conscious. But yes, that's what I would want to do, or sing something, beautiful chants and mantras for her. So that I want to kind of expose her to that beautiful vibration and not overly explain anything, just, yeah.
And if you select like a melodious something, in the material world, which we can say is melodious, something melodious recording of Srila Prabhupada singing, of Guru Maharaj singing, of Gurudev singing, that can be very
good idea. That's a very good
good.
idea. Yeah.
Because we feel that they're singing, even on a recording, we feel that their singing is otherworldly, literally otherworldly. It's not of this world. That may be also very wonderful. And if you have any opportunity of a little Jagannath Prasadam from anywhere and sing, and offer that to your mum, that is also very nice to do.
Well, actually, that's why she's dying. She can no longer have any food. She hasn't eaten food. She is dying.
Okay, okay.
So, no prasadam, but I really like that, the play her something, because I know she is also, it was so interesting how you started to talk about this person you talked to. It's so appropriate, because I was thinking I might be too tired to come, and it's just so perfect. So I want to thank you so much to bring that up, because I feel it's a powerful opportunity, and my mother seems to be sober and very accepting. Not fighting.
And you may find when you reach her that she is more Krishna conscious than you might think, because at times like this, it's when people really do open up. And there's no point at this point to be like any ism. We are searching for the Lord. We're coming to the Lord's lotus feet. And so we need to also present everything as a non-ism. We're coming in search of God. He's there for us all. And some sweet things. If you pray to Srila Prabhupada, to Gurudev, to Guru Maharaj, where your heart is, you pray to them for the right words to say to your mum at that time.
Oh, that's such a good idea. Thank you so much.
And I really can say with the devotee I was speaking to just a little earlier today, I was first, because I know the call is going to come, and we had a timed call, and then I'm trying to sit with Gurudev and hear Gurudev and hear his conversations in similar situations, and like trying to hear like what will be relevant for saying to this person, to different devotees, or someone who's not like officially a devotee, then maybe a little different way of approaching, but always with affection and with the God-centered theme. It has to be. No point in, oh, how are you? Oh, you feel better, I'll hold your hand. I mean, kind of, that has its place, but we know that they're not going to be feeling very good. It's like that. But a hospice, at least a hospice, they know how to manage pain as much as possible. So to be in good hands. And by the way, I do not know now, I can't say, but back in, well, what's the year now, 2022. So 10 years ago, the ISKCON hospice, this is just general news for everybody. There's I think it's called Bhaktivedanta Hospice, but there is a hospice behind ISKCON, and it's run by Radhanath Swami and his disciples in Vrindavan in India. And I went there, in fact, for my mother, I went there and did invite and asked, and we could have made all arrangements for my mother to come there. And she was happy, by the way, that I did make that not only offer, but I really said, Mother, this will be very good for you. You're going to die, when she was at that stage. And anyhow, I went there, and I can say then at least that the doctors, the nurses, the administration was very human and expert in their job, but also with the whole emphasis on the devotional side. And they had in fact a room there. When someone's actually just about to leave, then they take them to that room where they have the chanting and have a devotee reading Gita and things like that. It's a very, very caring place and not expensive, not like in the Western countries. It's for devotees, for that section. So I'm just putting it out there for anybody who's hearing, because that may be an option for any of your relatives or ourselves, when the time comes, if we have that option. Hare Krishna. And this is the reality, as this lady in Australia said after she had her actual death and coming back from death, when she said, so clear when I look around, everybody is going to perish, as it were. The ship is going to sink and everyone's going down, no survivors. So we must utilize our time properly. All of these events, and especially when they're people we know, or as in your case, Ganga Lila Didi, like your mother, who not only but very close to us. When people close to us and those we know and we have affection for, when they are leaving the world and about to leave the world, it's very sobering for the rest of us. And we are so fortunate that we've got Krishna consciousness. And it's not catching hold of a phantasmagoria, rather, everything else, oh, you're going to be better, oh, we'll be able to extend your life, you have this operation, that operation, no, you're not going to die. I mean, that is phantasmagoria, that you're not going to die. And as we know from some of our devotees too, one devotee went for what they said was, this is a minor operation, it's not life-threatening. Went into the hospital and died during the minor operation. So, there's always that promise that there's going to be, you have a longer life in the general medical world. But the devotees are realistic. When our time is up, okay, our time is up, but life goes on and we'll stay connected, and may our whatever good things we've done in our devotional life come to the forefront and please our Gurudev, the Vaishnavas and Krishna, and may we be stationed somewhere safe, wherever we're going to be after this body. By their protection, we'll be protected in the journey. Hare Krishna. Didi Hamburg, I do not know. I'd have to ask if there are any devotees nearby. But we can ask, I can ask a couple of sources, and if you like to, I do not know if I have your contact on WhatsApp, but
I can arrange the contacts to the Madhusudana Maharaj. I can arrange it. I can get Ganga Lila's contact to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny because yesterday I looked up and I just saw they have ISKCON in Hamburg, and I looked that up all as a thing to keep me floating.
yeah. All right. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. Tell me, how can I serve? Can I be of service? Braja Sundari Devidasi just put in a note, Braja Sundari in Israel. Sometimes it happens suddenly. You leave the house and that's it. We don't know how much we have left. I was 25 years old when I left my house and got hit by a truck. Only the Lord knows. Yes. Life experience. 25 years old and hit by a truck. I was following a car one day on the motorcycle, and its wheel just came off the car, and it was going along, and the car ground to a halt because the wheel fell off. But the wheel continued, a heavy wheel bouncing along the walkway. And I didn't want to see what had happened, but you see, you can just be walking, thinking, oh, everything is perfectly safe, and a wheel comes and ends your life or puts you in a serious condition. Hare Krishna. They say about Las Vegas, don't they? Those of you who don't know Las Vegas, which everyone knows Las Vegas, they must have heard its reputation. It's the gambling city in the States. There's lots of other places too, as I saw. But Las Vegas, they say, in Las Vegas, your luck can change just like that. Well, this whole world is a bit like Las Vegas. We can be riding high, but our luck can change just like that. Braja Sundari Devi Rasi, give some advice to everybody. You have life experience, we know it. And you have the scars to prove it. I mean, we don't need proof, but you went through so much. Something of your advice to everyone, or how we can be more focused. What did you do to become more focused? Many things you can share with us.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, and my obeisances to everybody. Maharaj, I don't know what can I share. Actually, the only thing which I got from that experience was that I don't need to have something left which was not said to close people. Because if we have some problems in communication, we are not to be silent, because nobody knows if we will be alive tomorrow and if we will be able to tell somebody, please, sorry, or something like this. It was the main experience and the main thing. And the second one is that I need to be responsible, not because I'm taking care about my life, but because I saw how upset were my relatives, my parents, and that's all.
Okay, well, two very important advices. And we should also try to leave this world without being in debt. Something like you are saying, that I'm not in debt to anybody. It's not that I'm owing anything. Okay, we have things to owe everywhere, but that we shouldn't have any kind of undone business. Whatever it is we promise to someone, we should fulfill that promise. Whatever it is that I owe to somebody, even if it's like a physical way, we should fulfill that. We should be free to be able to leave this world without, oh, I haven't done that, this, that, and the other. And somewhere it says in the scripture about who is happy is he who has no debt in this world. That we'd have to look up where it is. And in the material world, I mean, a completely mundane example, but when I was young, then I actually was able to do things quite, when an opportunity came up, then yes, I'm ready to do, because I wasn't paying off credit cards and this, that, and the other. And this was when credit cards were just coming out, people are starting to use them. And some of my friends, they say, oh, you should have a credit card. Look, I got this nice suit and I got this, like so many things. And it somehow didn't seem right to me that Okay, but you still got to pay for the suit, you know, like later on, week by week from your wages. And I had a car, I had a motorcycle, I had stuff like that, but I didn't have the top range. I had what I could afford and then fix up. And that's how I got to learn about mechanics. Because when you buy an old car, you got to then learn some new tricks, don't you? Anyway, we lived like with what we could afford. And then when some opportunity comes, then okay. So, you know, Friday, somebody says, can you do this? Monday, I'm doing it in a completely different place. And that was also, I saw it was a big advantage in the material world. But we need to be like that for all of our time. So that today's, okay, here is Thursday, but you know, if, okay, tomorrow you need to be doing service in Vaikuntha, well, okay, I'll do my service in Vaikuntha. Though I'd like to think, I would like to hope my ambition will be some service in Goloka. But if we're allowed to go and do our service in Goloka tomorrow, then I'd like to think, yes, no need, no problem. I'll even leave my mobile phone behind. I'm prepared to give that up. And how much the consciousness goes into the mobile phones, one has to wonder. And I've been consciously trying not to be too conscious of the mobile phone. Then get into trouble because we're not conscious of the mobile phone, so it takes us some hours to even find the message which says, you know, something else. Hare Krishna. Anyway, there we are. And who drove us here today? Abhinavasundar, Prabhu, Abhinavasundar. And he's the one in Vrindavan, way back in 2013 maybe, gave me my first smartphone. And he said, once you have a smartphone, you'll never be the same again. And he told me, people get robbed in the street, you know, in the cities, and you get robbed. He said, they'll give them money rather than give them mobile phone. And I couldn't believe it. I said, what? Why do they give them money and, you know, just get another phone afterwards? But no, we also understand, oh yeah, take the money, leave me the mobile phone. It can be or could be like that. So we need to also be careful about these attachments in the world and use them properly with power. Or some American, was it Abraham Lincoln maybe, said, with great power comes great responsibility. And for those of you who ever had to use Linux and had to go to the sudo command, or sudo command, I don't even remember properly now. Those of you who are computer programmers, etc. Until, well, when I was doing those things a few years ago, then it also told you right there in the computer, with great power comes great responsibility. Oh, okay. As you unlock the root of your computer and can screw everything up with just one click. They remind you, okay, now you can do whatever you like, but you have to be responsible for it. So everything has got power. And so all of these things that we're using, we must carefully use them and always rethink, is this for Mahaprabhu? Is this for Vaishnava and Guru? And that is our closest connection. And our substantial connection is Vaishnava Guru, Guru Vaishnava. Which Krishna himself says. Said, my devotee, yes, okay. They say they're my devotee, then they're my devotee of some sort. But my real devotees are those who are devotees of my devotees. So we'll try to maintain our action and our thought, not only the outer activity, but the inner activity, thought, intention, thinking. We should try to maintain all this for the satisfaction of Guru Vaishnava. And we may think that we are not the ones who are going to be going through the next door within the next few days, but we know that we all are. The Titanic is going to sink, and there's not going to be anything that can save us. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Sevarupa Devirasi, I'm giving you all this heavy news first thing in the morning as you wake up early in the morning in South Africa, where you've got the game parks, where everything is so beautiful, and commented upon by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, who did see some of these National Geographic or Discovery Channel DVDs that devotees brought, and showing so beautiful nature, so beautiful this. And Gurudev, after seeing one or two of these, he said, I see these things, but it's all about one creature eating another creature. One is food for another, just as given in Bhagavad Gita. One animal is food for another animal. And eating, sleeping, mating, defending. There you are. Whether it's a bird or a beast or a fish or a tree, all these things are going on. Oh, Sevarupa is coming with more quotes for us. Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 4. Sevarupa Devirasi, please let us hear you read, but please transmit, don't read, please transmit. We can all read, not only we can read, Google does a pretty good job of reading some of these things, the Google speech thing, but we don't need that. We need living reading.
Okay, so Sermons of the Guardian, Volume 4. Death is ordained for our existence. So give to the death that part of you that is ordained to die, and the eternal part of you will remain. But Mahaprabhu has discouraged the physical death. He told Sanatan Goswami, Sanatana deha tyage, Krishna yadi paiye, koti deha kshaneke tabe, chadite pariye. Sri Chaitanya Charamrita, Antya Leela 4:55. I am ready to die millions and crores of times in a second, if that would give me Krishna. But that dying is nothing. This physical death is tamasic. It is a very much lower bait. Not only physical death, but real death. The wholesale death is necessary. Then also, I may only get that tatashta borderline stage. But Mahaprabhu says, die or not die, go on cultivating Krishna consciousness with the company of a sadhu. Go on with the company of a devotee of Krishna. Try to accumulate that internal wealth by whatever means it is possible. Hare Krishna.
What more can we say? These are Srila Guru Maharaj's words, and we can put the words in other ways, but I mean, Guru Maharaj making very clear to us. Hare Krishna, with or without a body. And we have died so many times before, and we'll be reminded again too. But this time, may our death be that we can say, well, I'm trying to go in the right direction. I know what is the goal. And we are trying, and we are the tiny particle. We realize we are helpless when we need help at this time, when we've left our body. But we realize we need help now. And so we are praying for that causeless grace from the upper world. And you can see so many quotations. Read Shishi Prapana Jivanamritam. Read Sharanagati of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So many expressions of that. If you go to judge me, I'll be nowhere. I'll be condemned forever. I'm coming to the window, the petition, that window, you know, you have different windows for paying your tax and getting a mortgage, this, that, and that. We're coming to the window of mercy, saying, causeless mercy. But we have something to do, as Guru Maharaj points out. And what we have to do is we need to engage in what has been guided to us by our guardians, not just to do nothing. Hare Krishna, the baby monkey has something to do. He holds on, he has to hold on as his mother goes jumping across the rooftops or branch to branch in the tree. And we are like that, we have something to do. And Gurudev, in maybe divine guidance, he says there about, we have already got onto this elevator that's going very fast to the destination. But now our duty is simply to hold on and tolerate the speed. So we need to keep holding on and not forget that hold on. Otherwise, we can slip off that elevator. Jivana Devidasi. You are very equipoised, almost reminding us like Buddha. But remember, Buddha, he got a bit of a shock in his Leela, because he was living in the perfect life inside the palace. But when he came out on the street and saw suffering, then he said, oh, suffering, what is this suffering? So, Jivana, you are little like Buddha. You are living very perfect life, but you have seen suffering and you can share something, some good tip for us. You've had to deal with this. We've all had to deal with, in case of others and being with others and helping others. Jivanadi, please, over to you.
Just want to take this opportunity to offer my dandavats to all of you beautiful, illustrious devotees. I can't believe it, how fortunate I am every week to get to see you all in the circumstances under the guidance of Srila Bhakti Madhusudana Maharaj. It's just so wonderful. And as usual, I have to apologize for all my bazillions of offenses. Please just ignore my mind, ignore so many things, and just pray that I always have your good wishes on me. Maharaj, I have to say, I can never hear enough this topic. And it gives me great relief. You know, that's the thing about Krishna consciousness. It's just so truthful. No one is lying to you. They're telling you exactly how it is. And it's just like refreshing. And, when you're not with the devotees, you can't just talk about these things and people don't understand them. And sometimes you have to be in that company and you're like, you can't really say anything. And you just feel bad for people that they can't get some relief, because the philosophy just comes as such a great friend to give you relief. But I know, at least for myself, I know so often I'm just off and fall into that pit of, thinking the wrong way and feeling sad and so many things. But then immediately, if you can just remember that this is my life, everything is good, everything is great. This is, as Maharaj is saying, it's just known that we're just passing through these lives like that. Reminded me a little bit of this one thing, because we had the installation festival for Mahaprabhu in San Jose yesterday. So we were so happy to see Kumkum and go through a lot of the pastimes, a lot of the history of San Jose. But it reminded me also of one time that Kumkum had told me, similar to what you said, Maharaj, that she was in a really terrible, terrible accident as a teenager. And she said that she was in a terrible accident and she's laying there and all these, emergency vehicles were coming around. People were coming around and looking at her and saying, talking. And she was sitting thinking, she's thinking, wow, all these people are here, but the real problem is I didn't do what I was supposed to do in this life, and now I have to leave it. And I didn't get done what I was supposed to do. She said she felt like a little kid that your parents send you out, you go and get this, and instead of going and getting it, you go out and play with your friends or something, and you never end up bringing home what you were supposed to. So she had that very strong feeling as she was laying there. Everyone's looking at her and they're talking about all these other things, but she's just thinking, wow, I did not do what I was supposed to do with my life. And that really struck me as being really very, I don't know, just a real wake-up call for her, and also even her telling us about that. But so that's just what I wanted to say, is how beautiful it is to have good association, and also to hear the truth and hear what is really happening. And one other little thing was I was listening to something by Guru Maharaj, a tape when I was going over the hill to Santa Cruz, and it was something very high, talking about maybe I told you guys about this already, but anyway, it's a very high topic about, the pastimes of Krishna and the Leela and this, and I was thinking to myself, why should I even be hearing this? I'm so like low down. What the heck am I hearing this for? Because, I'm just completely a million trillion miles away. But then right after, so I was thinking that, Gurudev says, he says, we don't talk about these things all the time, but it's very important to know what is our goal. And that is actually our aspiration. And we keep that way above our heads. That's always our goal. We're not there, but we get to hear about it every now and then, so we can know, we're doing so much suffering here and trying to harmonize many things, but our ultimate goal is very beautiful. And so that was just what I was thinking, Maharaj.
Beautiful. And it is, and again, like you say, and it is true. All of this is true. And as Guru Maharaj said about what Mahaprabhu gave, the Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya, never been defeated anywhere. In all humility, I was there when Guru Maharaj said it. It was very humbly he said it. If we may be so bold to say, never been defeated anywhere, what Srila Saraswati Thakur has given. Then when it's, it's proven. How much proof is proof? Still there's some thought, oh no, may not be exactly, maybe some defeat can come from somewhere. No, how much proof is proof? Everyone seems to take proof of the scientists when it's basically speculation with some, some facts and figures or something. Well, what about the reality proof? The reality of our home in Goloka Vrindavan, the reality of our identity. You'd remove all the unwanted things, and what does Guru Maharaj describe? What is the final thing that's left when all of our unwanted and artificial things are removed? It's a devoted unit, a devotee. That is what is left. Bhakti is a function of the soul. It's not a function of the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, or some combination or anything. It's Guru Maharaj explaining it's a function of the soul. And so it is very good news. The good news is that not only is our ambition, our goal is very high, that land of Goloka Vrindavan, but really our proper identity is that we are a happy, joyful servitor. But we've forgotten. So, to follow the things which are favorable, to help this come to the forefront, to avoid the things which are unfavorable, then these are some of those very ABC, BBBC basics of our life. And by the way, I don't know if any of you actually did sing or read or go through Sharanagati of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But here in Thailand, we were here, as you know, for the Kartik time, and we are still going through Sharanagati. And in Sharanagati, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is so clear and sweet and everything about, the joy of devotional service and the natural awakening of only wanting to do favorable things, the natural awakening of distaste for other things, then it isn't like we will forcefully make ourselves do this and forcefully not do that. It's the journey. As the journey goes, then we're getting attracted, and we're getting repelled. And that the Sharanagati of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if you haven't gone through it, don't mind that Kartik month is over. You can start now and go through the whole of Sharanagati. And you will find out if you don't know, but the last song, I have to just stretch my leg a bit. The last song or kirtan in each chapter sometimes is a very high kirtan. So we don't dwell there, as we do with the high parts of Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc. As we're going through, we don't miss it out. We just we read it, and then we're giving our respect to that. We're not dwelling to those high parts. But the Sharanagati book, it is such a gem that Srila Gurudev, then he gives such glorification of Sharanagati. It's the first book Guru Maharaj gave to him. And Guru Maharaj told that when he read Sharanagati by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he found it so sweet and so clean and encouraging. I forget his exact words, but he was so struck by that he bought several copies and distributed to his friends, gave to his friends, which also makes us think, like, what kind of friends did Guru Maharaj have when he was a young man? Such Brahmin, Paka, qualified, sober, sincere, honest. But he made a vow to only tell the truth. That when I was a young man, I told myself from now on, I will only tell the truth. Whatever will be the result, I will only tell the truth. And then Guru Maharaj said, and after that, I felt that the whole earth, the whole planet was just like a ball of clay in my hand. So truth, and then what is truth? Then absolute truth. The search for reality. Reality means truth, not illusion. And so who was Guru Maharaj in his young age? And who were his friends? But he was so struck with that Sharanagati, small book. And he purchased several copies to give to his friends. Hare Krishna. Well, we need to, yes, Brajasundari, we need to hold on to the rope. And that rope is from up to down. Govinda, Govinda. Okay, oh my goodness, look at the time. Time does go on, doesn't it? Anyway, dear devotees, we're so happy that we have your association, that we can share these things and, yes, talk about these things, because, as Jivana points out, most of the world, we cannot talk about these subject matters without suspicion or ridicule or challenge or so many things. But we need to have somewhere where we can happily be at home and be able to freely discuss these topics which are based on faith, but not blind faith, but awake faith. So let us also give our good wishes. You please give your good wishes to those who we know are imminently going to go through the next door. And we actually hope and pray that at our time of going through the next door, there may be some devotees somewhere around who can help us with their good wishes at that time. And it is a descending current of grace from Gauranga, Guru and Vaishnava. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda ki Jai. And to all of those assembled with us, and to those who join us time to time, to Mitchell, you stayed with us throughout the whole program, and we're very happy that you're also with us hearing these topics. And of course, Dana, each of you, Gangalila, safe journey. And I'll see if there's anyone near Hamburg. If there is, I can maybe let Praneshwari or somebody know.
Yes, thank you. Chintamani has all my info.
Oh, okay, so to Chintamani, I'll let her know. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
And to each of you, back to Dan, also Dr. Dan with us throughout this time. Very good. Udaran Prabhu Brajasundri Sevarupa Jivana Leela Moy, very quietly. And Ashapurna, stay with us. Good to see you again. Don't forget the devotee family. Tungarasa Didi Jayade Prabhu. And Dana, always happily remembering. With my best wishes and praying to Guru and Gauranga for their grace upon you all, and to all their grace to all the sincere souls.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat. Have a good few days until we meet again soon. Hare Krishna.